Hello and welcome back. In the last section, we actually went ahead and created the dish along with the image being persisted in our database. Okay. The next thing that we want to do is we want to go after the remaining two APIs, but before that, let's also include a little bit of validation here for the input data for the dish data. Okay. So I will head over to essentially the validators and open the schema validators.js. And inside here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new schema called dish schema. And this is going to be containing joy.object. And it's going to have a name that's going to be joy.string.required. And it has to be a minimum of 5. Okay? Yeah. And max, let's not keep anything max there. We'll just have a minimum of 5 here. Okay. And next one, it's going to be description. And it's going to be again joy.string.required. Min of, let's say 10. Min of 10. Yeah. And let's say max of 50. Or maybe 100, I think. Maybe 100. Or maybe 150, yeah, because generally the descriptions can run into quite a few strings, right? And price is going to be again geo.number.required, right? And do we have a minimum here? No, don't think so. At least not here. And lastly, the category. Okay, and this is going to be joy dot again string, right? And it's going to be required. There's no one there. Okay, super. So we have the schema in place here, and let's go ahead and export this. I'm going to say export dish schema. Okay, and I'm going to head over to my controllers for the dish now, and let's go ahead and import this. Alright, I'm going to say import dish schema. I'm sorry about that. It's going to be const dish schema dish is equal to require one step above, one level above, and then it's going to be validators, I would think. Yeah, validators. And it's going to be dish schema validator here. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pass the data that's coming in here to our dish schema. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say const. Okay, let's put in the try block. Okay, const result is equal to await and dish schema dot validate async. Alright, and I'm going to provide all the stuff: name, description, and description, yeah, except the photo, yeah, super. And yeah, even if we provide the entire start body, we should be okay, because photo is going to be optional, but that's okay. And then I can say, so essentially this should be good. And in case there is an error, it'll go inside here and then trigger the error workflow. Okay, super. Let's see. This is done. And in case there is an error here, let's say if error is due to joy, then we have to go ahead and send the error also. If error dot isJoy is equal to true, if error dot isJoy is equal to true, we want to set the error dot status to 422. And another thing that we can encounter here is the duplicate error. So if we look back on the model here, our name is actually unique. Okay, our name has to be unique. So in case we send a duplicate name along the way, it has to actually flag an error and let the caller know about it. Okay, so if error dot message dot includes, let's say that's going to be E11000 here. What is it going to be doing? So essentially, it's going to be a duplicate. We're going to say return next, and with the create error. I think we do have create error, maybe. I don't think we have. No, we've not included it here. Let's go ahead and import that. Say const create error is equal to require HTTP errors. Okay, HTTP -errors. Yep, that's the one that we need. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say create error. Okay, and I'm going to say conflict here, and within double ticks, within backticks, I'll say the dish dollar dish dot name already exists. Okay, super. And in case if it's a regular error, like say related to joy or something like that, we'll go ahead and say next error. Okay, super. So I think we're in good shape here to test this for error handling. So first thing is we have to check whether the data validation holds true in terms of the data length and all that stuff. So let's head over to our REST client here within the editor, dish.rest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this has to be 5, right? The minimum has to be 5. Yeah, mine is 5. I'm going to name it as, let's say, just test instead of test-dish2. Okay. And this should trigger an error now. Fingers crossed. Yeah, there we go. At least 5 characters long. Okay. And the next one is, let's try and give the same name. I don't know if it's actually the same name. Let's see. No, this one. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it is actually. Name is Bisibalebat. Okay, let's go ahead with the first one, which was the name here was test dish. Yeah, test space dish. Yeah, let's go ahead with that. Let's go ahead and do this. Alright, fingers crossed again. And must be this. Unhandled dish is not defined. Okay. So something went wrong here in our controller. So it's saying on 37. Yeah, and the dish here is not defined. Okay. So I thought it was right here. Okay, because of the, maybe we may have to define it outside the try block. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's say let dish, and in here I'll just remove the dish. Okay, hopefully should take care of that. Let's give it one more shot. Alright, and it says the dish already exists here. Super. So our error handling is working fine, and I think that's really nice to know. And the next thing we want to do is have an API for the getter. So let's get started on that because it should be fairly quick now. So let's head over to our routes for the dish and in here. Okay, let me close this actually. Yeah, this is better. Let's go ahead and open this one, and in here I'm going to go ahead and create one more route. That's going to be router.get/dishes. Okay, and this is going to be fetch dishes. Yeah, fetch dishes. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and create this controller method in here, refer it essentially. It's not yet created, and obviously you're going to see an error now. Let's head over to the controller now. Okay, I'm going to go inside here, and in here I'm going to go ahead and create this new method. Okay, let me collapse this and say exports dot fetch dishes is equal to, it's going to be an async method, async function that's going to get the request and response object and the next function as well. Okay, so in here what I'm going to do here is that I'll head over to the routes again, and okay, let me close some of these. I don't know why it always goes to the left. Dish.js routes. Okay, in here I'm going to create a middleware as we did before. I'm going to say router.param, and this is going to get an ID as a param, and let's say it says fetch dish, not dishes, fetch dish. Okay, and let's go ahead and include it here, fetch dish. Okay, super, and let's go into the controller now. It's right here, and in here what I'm going to do here is exports dot, okay, let me create some white space so it's easy for us to essentially look at it in better detail. Exports dot fetch dish. This is going to be an async function, async arrow function of course, and request, response, and next, and it'll also get an ID. Alright, and let's see what we can do here. Okay, so inside here, first thing we're going to do is have a try catch block as always. Alright, and in here what I'm going to do is I have the ID handy, so let's say const dish is equal to await dish dot find by ID. We'll use the find by ID method of Mongoose, and find by ID, yeah, and this is going to be supplied with ID, and we'll say if the dish is not there by this particular ID, if not dish, what I'm going to do is throw a error here again. So essentially throw create error of type 404 to be precise, and it says with the custom message that says dish not found. Okay, super. And if it is found, what we're going to do is we're going to set the dish attribute, dish property of the request object to the dish object itself. Okay, super. And then after this we'll call the next function that's going to be next function in line, okay, which is essentially going to be any of our finder methods or update methods or delete methods. Okay, alright, and in here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Control Alt L. Okay, we got the error logging here, and I'll just go ahead and call return error or next error. Okay, the thing is we also have to see if the right ID is actually sent along here, right? Because we can also get a case where there is a cast error here, right? So what I'm going to do is if error instance of mongoose dot cast error. Let me go ahead and import mongoose here. Const mongoose is equal to require mongoose. Okay, that should do it. Mongoose dot cast error. Okay, so what are we going to do here if that is the case? We're going to say return next create error with 400 and as a status code, and with a message of invalid dish ID. Okay. Alright. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and create, or we'll just go next with the error object. Okay. Alright, super. So this completes the middleware. Now we have to actually go ahead and create the route for fetch by ID. Okay, let's head over to the routes for the dish, and in here I'm going to say router dot get, and that's going to be /dishes, and it's going to be on ID. Okay, and I'll just say fetch dish by ID. Close this. Go ahead and include it here. Okay, save it. Obviously it's gonna have an error in here, and I will head over to the controllers, and right above this I'm going to create a new function here. It says exports dot fetch dish by ID. Oops, I think I put it in the wrong place. Okay, fetch dish by ID. That's equal to a function that expects request response, and it's going to be an error function. All I'm going to do is I'm going to say res.status of 200 with the JSON data set to request.dish. Yep, that should do it. I think that should do it. Yeah, that's all that there is to it. So let's do some cleanup here. Alright, and now for the testing bit. Let's go ahead and get all the dishes for once, and we'll try to get a particular dish which had the picture there, right? So that was the last one. I'll go ahead and pick this ID, and I'll say with the comment get dish by ID, and this is going to be a get request, HTTP local API dishes, and the ID itself. Let's go ahead and give this, and let me close this. This is going to be an accept of application JSON. I think that's all that we need here. Okay. Alright, let's send this request. We did send the request. Interesting. We didn't get anything back. Alright, let's do a clean start and then do a fetch again. Alright, we got it here. It says 200. We didn't get anything back, interestingly. It says response time is this. Alright, another thing that we want to do here was actually not send the photo, right? We didn't want to send the photo here, so we had to be very choosy in terms of the photo not being sent. So what we have to do here is actually, before we send data in here, right? Okay, we can probably say request dot dish dot photo is equal to undefined. Okay, super. So that should actually help here, because apparently we don't want to send a picture here. So let's see if that actually helps. Let's say get dish by photo ID. One more time. Yeah, there we go. We get all the data, and apparently the photo is actually a binary data. Maybe the editor is not equipped to handle that. So we're getting the data here. Okay, super. So we have pretty much everything that we require here. I think the last one that we need is the picture itself. So we have to go ahead and then build that. And we'll take a pause right now and then come back and then build that last remaining API to get the picture of the dish itself. And let's take a pause.